Are you living as a man, or are you still reacting like a boy? That question may hurt. Good. It is supposed to, because most men never ask it. They drift through life believing they are grown simply because they age. But age does not create maturity. Time does not create strength. Pressure does. Responsibility does. Discipline does. Inside you, there are two identities fighting for control every single day. One is the boy, emotional, impatient, hungry for approval, afraid of rejection, addicted to comfort. The other is the man, calm, controlled, strategic, focused, silent about his moves, ruthless with his own weakness. The problem is this: the boy speaks louder. The boy wants to be liked. He wants validation. He wants praise. He checks who is watching. He reacts when criticized. He feels powerful when people approve of him and broken when they do not. His mood depends on others. His confidence depends on attention. His decisions depend on emotion. And that is where he loses. Psychology teaches us something brutal. The human brain is wired for comfort. It avoids pain. It resists uncertainty. It seeks pleasure now, not later. That wiring kept our ancestors alive. But today it keeps men average. Because comfort feels safe. Growth feels dangerous. So the boy chooses safe. He avoids hard conversations. He avoids discipline. He avoids the gym when it hurts. He avoids studying when it is boring. He avoids building when it is slow. He tells himself, tomorrow. He tells himself, when I feel ready. He tells himself, I just need motivation. But motivation is a child's language. Discipline is a man's language. The world does not reward emotional reactions. It rewards emotional control. It does not reward noise. It rewards results. It does not reward potential. It rewards execution. And here is the darkest truth: the world tests you. Constantly. It tests your patience. It tests your focus. It tests your ego. It watches how you respond when you are ignored, when you're disrespected, when you fail, when no one claps for you. The boy reacts. The man observes. The boy complains. The man adapts. The boy blames. The man takes responsibility. Responsibility is heavy. That is why boys avoid it. Because when you take responsibility, you lose the right to make excuses. And excuses are comfort. Excuses protect the ego. They protect the illusion that you are strong without proving it. But power does not live in illusions. Power lives in control. Control of your emotions. Control of your impulses. Control of your reactions. If someone insults you and you explode, who is in control? Not you. If rejection destroys your confidence, who controls your value? Not you. If comfort decides your habits, who is leading your life? Not you. A man who cannot rule himself will always be ruled by something else. By people, by emotions, by desires, by fear. And fear is the favorite weapon against the boy within you. Fear of not being enough. Fear of not being chosen. Fear of being alone. Fear of failure. Fear of looking foolish. The boy trembles at these fears. He shapes his personality around them. He edits himself to fit in. He lowers his standards to avoid rejection. But understand this clearly. Respect is never given to the man who bends to be accepted. Respect is given to the man who stands firm, even if he stands alone. The boy wants to be liked by everyone. The man wants to be respected by himself. There is a difference. One builds temporary comfort. The other builds permanent strength. And strength is built in silence. Not by announcing goals. Not by posting every move. Not by talking about becoming powerful. But by waking up when you do not feel like it. By training when you're tired. By studying when it is boring. By staying calm when provoked. By choosing long-term results over short-term pleasure. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, the boy grows stronger. Every time you avoid responsibility, he smiles. Every time you react emotionally, he tightens his grip on your life, and slowly, without realizing it, he steals your future, because the future belongs to controlled men, to men who delay gratification, to men who endure discomfort without drama, to men who can sit in silence and build while others seek attention. If you stay until the end of this journey, you will understand exactly how to silence that inner boy and awaken the man that commands respect without begging for it. But first, you must accept this uncomfortable truth. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not outside you, it is inside you. And he looks exactly like the version of you that chooses comfort over growth. The moment you recognize that the enemy is inside you, everything changes. Because now you cannot blame your circumstances. You cannot blame your past. You cannot blame other people. The battlefield is internal, and the war is brutal. Transformation is not soft. It is not gentle. It is not comfortable. Growth is violent, not against others, but against your old self. The boy within you will not leave quietly. He will fight to survive. He will whisper excuses. He will offer comfort. He will remind you how easy it is to stay the same. He will say, "You deserve a break." He will say, "It's not that serious." He will say, "You could start tomorrow." And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And one day, you wake up realizing nothing changed, except your age. If you want to rise as a man, something inside you must die. The need for approval must die. The fear of being alone must die. The addiction to comfort must die. The habit of reacting emotionally must die. This is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming controlled. Psychology teaches that repetition rewires the brain. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you carve a new pathway. Every time you stay calm instead of reacting, you strengthen emotional control. Every time you face discomfort voluntarily, you reduce the power of fear. Pain becomes your teacher. Rejection becomes your armor. Silence becomes your weapon. Boys chase attention. They measure their worth by how many people notice them. They speak loudly about their goals. They announce their moves before making them. They look powerful for a moment, but collapse under pressure. Men build value quietly. They measure their worth by their standards, not by applause. They move in silence. They execute without drama. When pressure comes, they do not panic. They adjust that if you cannot control your emotions, someone else will control them for you. A single insult will ruin your focus. A single rejection will destroy your confidence. A single failure will convince you to quit. That is how weakness spreads. Not loudly, quietly, through small moments where you surrender control. Understand this clearly. Weakness invites disrespect. The world may not say it out loud, but it feels it. When you're unstable, when you are reactive, when your mood shifts with every situation, people sense it. They may smile at you. They may even like you, but they will not trust your strength. Strength is consistency. Strength is calm. Strength is the ability to sit in discomfort without escaping. The brutal awakening begins when you stop negotiating with your weakness. When you stop saying, "just this once." When you stop allowing emotions to decide your actions. You go to the gym when you're tired. You work when you're bored. You stay disciplined when no one is watching. You hold your frame when tested. Not because you feel like it, but because you decided. Decision is power. The boy waits for motivation. The man creates structure. The boy follows feelings. The man follows standards. Every time you choose the harder path, you send a message to your mind. I am in control. And slowly the identity shifts. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to be disciplined. You become disciplined. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to be strong. You become strong. Identity is built through repeated action. This is why comfort is dangerous. It freezes identity. It traps you in a smaller version of yourself. It convinces you that survival is enough, but you are not built to merely survive. You are built to command your life. Command requires sacrifice. You will lose people who prefer the softer version of you. You will lose habits that once entertained you. You will lose the illusion that growth is easy. Good, because evolution demands a price. Every time you resist reacting, the boy weakens. Every time you accept responsibility, he shrinks. Every time you choose long-term discipline over short-term pleasure, you strike him down. And there will be days when he feels stronger. Days when you want to quit. Days when your emotions rise like a storm. That is normal. The difference is this. You do not surrender. You observe the emotion. You breathe. You remain steady. You act according to your principles, not your impulses. That is the shift. Not becoming emotionless, becoming emotionally sovereign. When you reach that level of control, something powerful happens. You stop seeking validation. You stop chasing approval. You stop reacting to noise. You become dangerous in the most controlled way possible. Because now, nothing outside you decides who you are. And that is where the real rise begins. When nothing outside you decides who you are, you become unshakable. This is the moment the man begins to rise. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, internally, solid. The world may not notice at first. That is fine. The real transformation is invisible in the beginning. It happens in your posture, in your tone, in your reactions, in the way you enter a room without seeking approval, in the way you hold eye contact without aggression, in the way you listen more than you speak. Power does not announce itself. It radiates. The man you are becoming does not need to prove his strength. He demonstrates it through control. When challenged, he stays calm. When criticized, he evaluates instead of exploding. When rejected, he adjusts instead of collapsing. Emotional control increases perceived dominance. People trust the one who remains steady under pressure. They follow the one who does not panic. They respect the one who does not beg. Calm is rare. That is why it is powerful. The boy once needed constant reassurance. The man needs clarity. Clarity of purpose. Clarity of standards. Clarity of direction. He knows what he tolerates and what he does not. He knows where he is going, even if he moves slowly. Speed does not create power. Consistency does. You build authority in your life by doing small, hard things every day. Waking up when you said you would. Training when you promised yourself you would. Finishing tasks even when no one checks on you. Self-trust is the foundation of manhood. That if you break promises to yourself, your confidence collapses quietly. You begin doubting your own words. But when you keep promises to yourself, even small ones, your identity strengthens. You start seeing yourself as reliable, capable, controlled. And that changes everything. The rising man speaks less. He observes more. He understands that mystery creates respect. Oversharing creates weakness, not because vulnerability is wrong, but because discipline is selective. He chooses when to speak. He chooses when to reveal. He does not spill his vision to everyone. That he protects his energy. Energy is currency. Attention is currency. Time is currency. The boy spends them carelessly. The man invests them carefully. He avoids unnecessary drama. He does not argue to win ego battles. He does not chase every distraction. He does not respond to every provocation. If something does not serve his growth, he walks away. Walking away is power. There's strength in restraint. There's strength in silence. There's strength in knowing you could react, but choosing not to. Manhood is not aggression. It is control. It is the ability to hold intensity without losing direction. It is the ability to remain firm without becoming cruel. It is calculated action. When you master yourself, the external world shifts. Opportunities begin to align with your discipline. People treat you differently, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. Respect follows self-mastery. You no longer chase it. It arrives. Peace follows strength. You no longer feel the need to prove. You no longer feel threatened by other success. You no longer feel destroyed by temporary failure. You understand that setbacks are data, not definitions. Delayed gratification becomes natural. You stop needing immediate rewards. You can work in silence for months, years. You can build patiently while others burn out chasing quick validation. And that patience compounds. The rising man understands strategy. He thinks long-term. He does not sacrifice his future for temporary pleasure. He does not destroy his discipline for a moment of comfort. He moves with purpose. Every action is intentional. Every reaction is measured. Every day is aligned with his standards. This is how you rule your life, not through dominance over others, but through dominance over yourself. Once you conquer your impulses, fears lose their grip. Once you control your emotions, manipulation loses its power over you. Once you discipline your habits, chaos loses its access to your future. You become the architect, And here is the final truth. The boy never fully disappears. He waits. He watches for moments of weakness. He hopes for laziness. He whispers during fatigue. But now you recognize his voice, and you do not obey it. You acknowledge it. You feel it, and you choose differently. That choice, repeated daily, is the difference between drifting and leading, between reacting and commanding, between wishing and becoming. Destroy the boy within you, not with anger, not with hatred, but with relentless discipline. Build the man through repetition, through restraint, through responsibility. And when you do, you will not need to tell the world you have changed. They will see it in your calm, in your focus, in your silence. Rule yourself, and you will never be ruled again.